Thank you for your kind words, Hillel. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be here today at the United Nations and to be part of the Geneva Summit for Human Rights and Democracy. In the summer of 2021, my husband, Vladimir Kara-Murza, wrote in his article for the Washington Post, and I quote, "Concern over human rights is not a political whim, a publicity stunt, or an exercise in charity. It is a fundamental aspect of international relations, inextricably linked to both economic development and security issues." Now that the world stands united in helping Ukraine counter the aggression launched by the Russian state, it is important, crucially important, to realize that Vladimir Putin did not become a maniacal killer overnight. He's been on the scene for 23 years, trying his hand at different crimes committed both domestically and internationally. This year will mark the 20-year anniversary of the imprisonment of the last hostage of the Yukos case, Alexei Pichugin, 20 years behind bars in violations of 2 decisions by the European Court of Human Rights, and the opinion of the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention that urged Pichugin's immediate and unconditional release. Political assassinations have become one of the regime's favorite methods of dealing with the opposition. Novaya Gazeta alone, whose editor-in-chief Dmitry Muratov became the co-recipient of the 2021 Nobel Peace Prize, lost 6 journalists to political assassinations. In 2015, the leader of the Russian opposition, Boris Nemtsov, was murdered just steps away from the Kremlin walls. My husband, Vladimir Kara-Murza, survived 2 assassination attacks perpetrated by the same team of assassins in the service of the Russian state that poisoned Alexei Navalny with Novichok. Internationally, Vladimir Putin's regime committed war crimes in Syria and in Chechnya, annexed Crimea and invaded Georgia. Now, over 2 decades of impunity have led Vladimir Putin to believe that he could get away with anything, and he launched a full-blown war of aggression, genocidal war of aggression against Ukraine that goes hand in hand with a massive-scale repression in Russia. The regime is using the entire arsenal of Soviet-style repressive mechanisms, including punitive psychiatry, sexual violence, torture, and Stalin-era prison terms of up to 15 years for protesting against the war. Anyone who dares oppose the official narrative is being portrayed by the state as a criminal, a spy, or a traitor, like my husband, Vladimir Kara-Murza, who was just a month ago sentenced to 25 years of strict regime for high treason, based on 5 public speeches that he'd made on different international platforms denouncing the war crimes in Ukraine and talking about political repression and total censorship of the media in the Russian Federation. The same Russian Federation, a state aggressor that was running the UN Security Council when my husband's Kafkaesque trial was underway in Moscow. There is no doubt that when human rights abuses are being ignored or considered an internal affair of any state, time inevitably comes when these abuses cross borders and spread around like cancer. As Elie Wiesel said in his Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, and I quote, "When human lives are endangered, when human dignity is in jeopardy, national borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. What all these victims need above all is to know that we are not forgetting them, that when their voices are stifled, we shall lend them ours, that while their freedom depends on ours, the quality of our freedom depends on theirs." Thank you very much.